under the window. He saw the hazel twig. He moved toward it. The Raven King caught sight of him. His laugh stopped abruptly. "Cree! Caw!" he croaked to one of his bodyguards. Jack dashed for the twig, but before he could grab it, the king's bodyguard had swooped across the floor and picked up the twig in his beak. As the raven carried it to the top of the window, Jack noticed that one of his tail feathers was bent. "Jack, look, it's Rock," said Annie. She called up to the bird. "Rock, Rock!" From his perch above the window, the raven looked down at Annie. "Rock, it's me, Annie," she said. "I helped you when the people in the village threw stones at you, remember?" "What nonsense," croaked the Raven King. "Bring me the stick, bird." Rock didn't move. Gripping the hazel twig in his beak, he stared down at Annie. "Give the twig to Jack, Rock," she said, "so he can turn Teddy back into a boy." "So that ugly little stick is a magic wand, is it?" said the Raven King. "Bring it to me, bird, now." "Don't do it, Rock," said Annie. "Don't let him push you around anymore." The raven stared at Annie for a moment. With its dark brown eyes, he looked at the Raven King. He looked back at Annie. Then he swooped down to Jack and dropped the hazel twig at his feet. Jack grabbed it. "Traitor!" the Raven King shrieked at Rock. "You'll pay for this!" He lunged toward the raven. Rock tried to escape, but the king grabbed him by the throat. Jack had to save Rock. He pointed the twig at the Raven King's back and shouted, "Oh, hazel twig from hazel tree, make him what he wanted to be!" A deafening wind roared through the room. A blinding light flashed. Then all was clear. The Raven King had vanished. His cape lay on the floor. Rock hopped away unharmed. From under the feathered cape came a hoarse cry. "Oh! Oh, the Raven King became a normal raven!" Annie lifted the cape and uncovered a tiny raven. "Oh," she said softly. The bird stretched out his scrawny neck. "Oh," he croaked again. "Hello yourself," Annie said, smiling. She stroked the downy feathers on the creature's head. Then she looked up at Jack. "How did you come up with that rhyme?" "It just came to me," said Jack. "I knew I had to say Rock, but I didn't want to hurt the Raven King. I think I actually felt sorry for him." "So you helped him finally get what he wanted," said Annie. "You turned him into a baby raven." "Yeah," Jack said. "Now he can live his whole life as a bird." Rock flew up to the window ledge. He looked around at the other ravens. It was clear he had become their new leader. "Crow! Crow!" Rock croaked. He stepped aside. The raven's troops began to leave the nursery, one by one. Two of them escorted the new member of their flock as he timidly flapped his wings. Rock was the last to leave. He stared at Annie and Jack with a long gaze. Then he lifted off the window ledge and flew away into the light of the silver dawn. Chapter 12. A New Day. "Quick!" A little croak came from the cage on the floor. "Teddy!" cried Annie. "We almost forgot you," said Teddy. "Quick!" Teddy croaked again. "Let me change him back," Annie said to Jack. "Okay, but let me get out of the way first," said Jack. He handed Annie the hazel twig. Then he quickly stepped over to the window. Annie moved closer to Teddy's cage. She closed her eyes and thought for a moment. Then she waved the wand over the cage and said, "Oh, hazel twig from hazel tree, make him Teddy, set him free." There was a mighty roar, a blast of heat, and a blaze of light. Then the cage was gone, and Teddy was a boy again sitting on the floor. "Yay," said Annie. "Nicely done," said Teddy. "Thanks. Welcome back," said Jack. He and Annie helped Teddy stand up. Teddy shook his arms and legs. "Ah, 'tis good to be human again," he said. "And now we must help the Duke's family. Where's the diamond?" "We lost it," said Annie. "Yeah, I had it in my beak," said Jack. but I must have dropped it when Annie changed us back into ourselves." "Don't worry," said Teddy. "It must be here somewhere." The three of them got on their hands and knees and started crawling over around the floor of nursery. There was no sign of the diamond. Suddenly, Jack heard Teddy gasp. "Oh my," Teddy whispered. "Look!" He was staring at the corner. The diamond of destiny was rising from the basket of wool by the spinning wheel. "The goose girl must have hidden it when the Raven King came," whispered Annie. The diamond moved slowly toward Jack and stopped in front of him. Jack held out his hand, and the diamond settled into his palm. "Thank you," Jack said to the ghost girl. "I'll put it back in its place now." Carefully holding the diamond, Jack crossed the room. Annie pulled the tapestry aside, and Jack opened the golden door of the cabinet. He looked one last time at the shining stone. "I really felt brave when I was carrying this diamond," he said softly. "Jack," said Annie, "you were pretty brave just now without it." "Indeed you were," said Teddy. Jack smiled. He carefully put the diamond of destiny back in its place and closed the golden door. Then Annie covered the cabinet once more with the tapestry. The air in the nursery grew warmer. Began to take shape beside Teddy. She wore a white nightgown. She had dark curly hair. She was about Teddy's age. At the cheese table, two boys took shape too. They looked just alike. They were twins about Annie's age. At first, the children were a bit pale and cloudy. Slowly, they grew more and more visible, until they were solid and rosy-cheeked. At the same time, a large brown dog became visibly by the door. He barked and ran to the girl. "Oliver!" she cried. She hugged him. Then she looked at Jack, Annie, and Teddy. She gave them a big smile. "Hello," she said. "Hi," said Annie. "Are the three of you the only people in this castle?" "Oh no, everyone else is here too," the girl said. "But they were all asleep when the Raven King stole the diamond. We were supposed to be asleep too, but sometimes we like to sneak out of bed and play. We were playing hide and seek when I found the secret door behind the tapestry. I wanted to see the diamond better, so I put it on the window ledge to catch the moonlight. Then Tom and Henry started to play chess." She pointed to the boys. "Gwendolyn started spinning," said Tom. "And Oliver went down to the gray hole to look for scraps. That's when the Raven King swooped down." Oh, the Raven King swooped down and got the diamond, because they were playing the diamond on the diamond. "To the window and stole the diamond," said Gwendolyn. "Before we could even go tell our mother and father, we began to fade away." "Mother, father," said Tom, as if he just remembered their parents. "We must wake them, Gwendolyn." "I know," she said. "We shall go upstairs and wake them at once. Since they were sleeping, I suspect they never even knew they were invisible." Gwendolyn took her brother's hands, and the three of them started out of the nursery. At the door, she looked back at Jack, Annie, and Teddy. "Thank you for helping us," she said, "whoever you are." The Duke's children then slipped out of the nursery. Oliver grabbed his bone and bounded after them. Jack handed a hazel twig to Teddy. "Listen," Jack said, "I don't think this is something that kids should play with. Even sorcerer kids. You'd better give it back to your cousin." "Aye, perhaps that is a good plan," said Teddy. He grinned impishly as he slipped the twig back into his pocket. Then he gestured toward the door. "Shall we?" Jack and Annie nodded. Teddy picked up his lantern and blew out the candle. Then he led them all out of the castle nursery into the hallway. As they started down the stairs, servants rushed by. "Ring the bells," one said. "Bring water for the Duke and Duchess," said another. "We're getting a late start today," said the third. Jack, Annie, and Teddy kept winding down the stairs, past the great hall, past the armor room, down to the entrance of the keep. As they stepped down into the courtyard, bright sunlight shone on the castle towers. The bells began to ring. Roosters crowed. Horses neighed. Servants were making a big cooking fire. A blacksmith was pounding his anvil. A milkmaid was hauling her pails. In the bright daylight, Jack, Annie, and Teddy walked through the busy courtyard. They passed through the gatehouse and crossed the wooden bridge. When they got to the other side, they looked back. Archers now stood guard on the top of the castle walls. Teddy waved to them. Then he looked at Jack and Annie. "Order has returned to the castle," he said. "Our mission is done." Laughing, they ran through the patch of trees toward the small village. As they hurried along the dirt path past the cottages, they saw villagers in their doorways. They were all staring in the direction of the ringing castle bells. Maggie, the old woman, grinned toothlessly at the three of them. "The bells are ringing again," she said in a creaky voice. "Yes," said Jack. "The boys and the girl and the hound are all back. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. The whole castle is alive and well." Jack, Annie, and Teddy left the village and headed for the woods. As they walked through the fallen leaves, sunlight filtered down through the tree branches. Merlin's words echoed in Jack's mind. "You are about to enter a tunnel of fear. Proceed onward with courage and you will come out into the light." Jack looked around. The forest was bright with the most beautiful golden light he had ever seen. Chapter 13. Jack's and Annie's Magic. Jack, Annie, and Teddy crunched through the fallen leaves until they came to Merlin's oak. They found a hidden door near the rope ladder. Teddy pushed on the bar. The door opened. One by one, they slipped into the candlelit hollow of the tree trunk. Merlin was sitting in his tall wooden chair. "So you restored order to the castle?" he said calmly. "Yes, sir," said Teddy. "Had to use a bit of magic, but now all is well." "Your rhyming must have improved," Merlin said to Teddy. Teddy grinned sheepishly. "Well, to be truthful, the real magic was not in my rhymes. 'Twas the magic of Jack and Annie's courage and kindness that saved the day. And saved me, too." "Indeed?" said Merlin. "Aye," said Teddy. "They have a magic as powerful as any sorcerer's rhymes or enchanted hazel twig." Merlin raised a bushy eyebrow. "Enchanted hazel twig?" he said. "'Tis only a figure of speech," Teddy said quickly. Merlin turned to Jack and Annie. "I thank you for your help," he said. "All the realm of Camelot thanks you." "You're welcome," they said. Merlin stood up. "Come along, my boy," he said to Teddy. "I will help speed you back to Morgan now. My research is done. We must return these rare books to her library." He reached down and picked up a stack of ancient-looking books from the floor. He piled them into Teddy's arms. Teddy turned awkwardly with his books. Then he and Jack and Annie followed Merlin out of the heart of the oak. The sun had risen higher in the sky. The woods were still. Teddy peered over the tops of the books. "I suppose we must say goodbye now," he said to Jack and Annie. "When will we see you again?" asked Annie. "When duty calls, I suppose," said Teddy. He looked at Merlin. The magician smiled. "Will you be able to find your way home all right?" Teddy asked them. "Oh, sure," said Jack. "The treehouse will take us back." He and Annie looked up at the magic treehouse at the top of the oak. A sudden gust of wind rustled the leaves. Jack and Annie turned back to Merlin and Teddy, but they were gone. Bright yellow leaves swirled and danced in the spot where they'd been standing. "Wow," said Annie. "Yeah," said Jack. "Well," said Annie, sighing. "Onward?" "Homeward," said Jack. Annie started up the rope ladder. Jack followed. When they climbed inside the treehouse, Merlin's leaf invitation was fluttering off the floor. Before it could blow out the window, Annie grabbed it. She pointed to the words Frog Rig. "I wish we could go there," she said. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Jack opened his eyes. He and Annie sat quietly on the floor of the treehouse for a moment. Jack looked out the window. High overhead, A bird was soaring through the dusky sky. Jack could hardly believe that just a little while ago he had been a bird himself. Ready to go home? Said Annie. Jack nodded. There was no way to explain what had just happened to them, he thought. There was no way to even talk about it. Annie carefully placed Merlin's autumn leaf in the corner of the treehouse, next to the royal Christmas invitation. Then she and Jack climbed down the ladder and started through the woods. In the gathering dark of Halloween night, nothing seemed very spooky. Jack knew all the trees. He knew the familiar path out to their street. As he and Annie headed toward home, three creatures stepped onto the sidewalk in front of them. A hideous witch, a grinning skeleton, and a huge, hairy eyeball. The creatures cackled and rattled and hissed. Jack and Annie laughed. Oh, brother, said Jack. Good costume, said Annie. Jack and Annie crossed their yard and climbed their front steps. Are you ready for trick-or-treating? Said Annie. Jack pushed his glasses into place. You know, I think maybe I'll stay home this year, he said, and help Mom and Dad get out the treats. Yeah, maybe I will too, said Annie, but I think I'll wear my vampire princess costume anyway. Jack smiled. Cool, he said. Then he and Annie slipped inside the warm, cozy house and closed the door against the dark of All Hallows Eve. That's the end of the story. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.